So Christopher Nolan's next film will not be a Warner Bros. Film. It will in fact be a Universal film. The first time in years that that's going to happen. Because if you didn't know, I believe all or most of Nolan's films are made by Warner Bros. You have Dark Knight, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, Inception. All of these are Warner Bros. Films. And it says a lot that now he's going to Universal just like that. And it's a big news today. But before we get into today's topic of discussion, y'all make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. That way you can notify future content here on the channel. My name is Isaac, and this is the Multiverse of Movies, a channel for movie fans to be the movie fans that they so want to be. Whether you're a fan of Marvel, DC, Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, James Gunn, Denis Villeneuve, whatever director you love, whatever movie franchise you belong to, whatever fandom you belong to, this is a channel for you, because over here we discuss a lot about movies, whether it's movie reviews, trailer reactions, live streams, or movie news in general. This is a channel for you. So make sure you comment down below after the video and let me know your thoughts on this whole situation, and let me get into the comments here. So it's been confirmed Christopher Nolan's next film will be about the atomic bomb. Now, we don't know too much, but we do know that that is his plan, and I'm very intrigued with it. But it got picked up by Universal. Now, for context, Christopher Nolan last year was insanely frustrated and furious with what Warner Bros. Did to its creators. And what they did to the creators is they decided for all of 2021 to put all of their movies, not just in theaters, but straight to streaming on the exact day that it comes out in theaters. And I've been saying this for a long time. Streaming is going to kill movies, and Warner Bros. Basically killed their own movies this year. Godzilla vs. Kong could have made a lot more if it was in theaters exclusively. James Gunn's Suicide Squad flopped because it was not just in theaters exclusively. There's been so many movies that have flopped and flopped and flopped because of Warner Bros.'s idiocy and putting these films on HBO Max. And Nolan, even last year, when this happened, he put out a tweet, I'm just going to put the tweet right here on the screen, but this is basically what he said. He was very furious with Warner Bros., and I cannot blame him. Filmmakers go into projects saying this is going to be a theater movie, this is going to be a movie where people can go watch it in an IMAX, maybe a Dolby, maybe a standard, whatever kind of cinematic experience, and they're going to enjoy the experience and then leave having enjoyed that film. But instead, what Warner Bros. Decided to do is take away half of that audience and decide, you know what, just watch it in your regular TV, watch it in your ordinary TV. It doesn't matter where you're watching it as long as you're watching it on HBO Max. And that pisses off directors, because the main reason why it pisses us off is because these directors grow up with that cinematic experience. And look, I know a lot of people have been giving me backlash when I criticize the whole streaming thing. Look, the simple fact, factual. This isn't subjective. This is objective. This is an opinion. This is factual. Streaming has killed every movie, including Black Widow, Soul, whatever movie you want to think of. Mulan. There's so many movies that went to streaming and it killed its box office, and it's not making a lot of money. And there's quite a few facts on why that's happening. And number one reason is pirating. Pirating has always been the main culprit of box office failures. It's always been there. So now what you're doing is you're giving a lot of these morons who like to pirate movies, who, let me just say this, if you pirate movies, unless, the only exception I make is if you're in a country where that movie's not available, that I make an exception for. But regardless, if a movie comes out and you watch it illegally pirated, then you're scum. You're scum. Because you're stealing, you're not supporting the creators. Because that takes years and years on end. It takes up to 2 years for a director to work on a project. They're not just movies, they're passion projects. It's why I'm so big on the theatrical experience. And that's why I hate pirating. But now what Warner Bros. Has essentially done is given people 4K, Ultra HD copies, and everyone can just pirate it very easily. Because I go to my TV. Like in a theater, I could grab this phone. To a theater, I go and I would have to record it very secretly. I would have to, to be very secret about it. But over here at home, I can just be like, all right, doesn't matter. Or I can get screen record and then I have a 4K copy of the movie and then give it to everyone. Which is why I always tell everyone around me, hey, if you want to go support a film, then go support it theatrically. You're not doing anything by watching it streaming. They don't make any money off of it. It's just a few, they make a couple of bucks, but nowhere near the amount of a box office. And I'm always about supporting creators. And Nolan, I cannot blame him. And even though I know Warner Bros. Was willing to give him a theatrical only film, I don't think Nolan trusts him. I think Nolan came here, he took a stand and said, you know what? I'm not going to trust you guys. You guys stabbed everyone on the back. You didn't even, like, it got confirmed that Warner Bros. Didn't even tell their employees, they didn't even tell their directors, their talent, their actors, they didn't even tell them that they were going to do this. So imagine how Denis Villeneuve, James Gunn, James Wan, all the directors who had films for Warner Bros. This year, imagine how they felt. Imagine how they feel about what they did. And it's absolutely sad. It's disgusting. I remember I've even been guilty because I remember a couple months ago I watched Suicide Squad with my friends and we watched it on streaming rather than go to a theater. Although I have been to 2 theaters to watch Suicide Squad, I still feel culprit because I let them borrow my HBO Max account just so that they could watch Suicide Squad. And to me, that's me stabbing James Gunn in the back, and I don't think that's right. But I've always been saying this. In a world where these studios are making complete idiotic decisions, especially Warner Bros. Because Warner Bros. Isn't even charging $30. They're just like, all right, let's just have them there, pay $15 a month, and it's absolutely pathetic. It's annoying. And the worst part about these is because there's certain movies that could make a lot of money, but they're not going to make that money because of streaming. Like, I've been saying this right now. Suicide Squad 2 or James Gunn Suicide Squad 2 will probably never happen because of the numbers it made. The numbers it made is not profitable. It's not good. It flopped in the box office because of HBO Max. Simple as that. I've been seeing people say, well, it flopped because Snyder wasn't directing. That's not... No. That had nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with it. What it did have to do with is HBO Max. HBO Max. It's frustrating. I get if you do want to make movies that are straight to streaming. But if you have full-on theatrical films, those go to theaters. Because those cost a lot of money and you got to make your money back somehow. Matrix Resurrections. I recently watched the Matrix Resurrections trailer, and I was so excited. I was so pumped because that first Matrix movie is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. And then when I watched the trailer, when at the end it says in theaters, and then it says and on HBO Max, you know how sad I was? I'm like, this could be one of the best movies of all time, for all I know. But the box office is not going to show that. Mainly because of HBO Max. And yes, we have had a few exceptions like Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong made the same exact money that Godzilla King of the Monsters made, even though it came during a pandemic. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong was like that one exception. But that's one out of a ton of movies. You got Tom and Jerry, you got Space Jam 2, you got Suicide Squad, you got Malignant. You got all these films, but they're not doing the numbers that they should be doing. Even Conjuring 3, it's not doing the numbers it should be doing. And it's embarrassing, and you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm glad Nolan left to Universal, because I do think this is going to be a wake-up call for Warner Bros. They're going to be like, oh, we don't have our best director. We don't have the guy who's been leading, because, let's face it, he's been making, like, Nolan isn't in my favorite directors. Like, he's not in my top 3. He might be top 5, I'm not sure. I know he is definitely top 10, but one thing he has done that no other director has done to me personally is every one of his movies, there's not a single bad movie he's made, or at least in my subjective opinion. Now, yes, Tenet and Dark Knight Rises, those are his worst, but they're both very good films. And I gotta give a plot. He has not made my favorite movie of all time, but he has made a couple of movies that I just love and love and love. Like Inception is in my top 10, Interstellar is great, Insomnia is great, Dunkirk is great, The Dark Knight, we can't forget about that, is great, Batman Begins is great. He's made he has a resume that is just unstoppable. It's unstoppable. And I think it's great that he's going to Universal, because Universal is not stabbing their movies in the back. They kept Fast 9 as theatrical only, even though I hated Fast 9. They have all their French. They're not putting their movies on streaming. I believe, I forgot what studio is. What studio is responsible for Halloween Kills? I cannot remember, but I know for a fact that Universal is not stabbing their movies in the back, and I for sure know that Nolan, when he signed that contract, I'm pretty sure he said, no, this is going to be a theatrical only, don't change your mind at all, theatrical only, that way if they do try to put it on streaming, He can just, they're like, hey, look, the contract says it right there, bud, so you got to pay me up. Do a little bit of a ScarJo. And, yeah, it's absolutely embarrassing. Warner Bros. Mismanagement this year. I believe even a few Warner Bros. Executives have even said themselves that this has not been a good year. This has not been a good year. And I think it's quite obvious what they mean when they're saying that. Me personally, I just hope for the best. And by the way, I'm glad that 2022 is not having this as far as we know. I know as it stands, Warner Bros. Has said multiple times that they will continue just doing theatrical only when 2022 arrives. Like the Batman, Black Adam, Flash, all the other Warner Bros. Films, they will continue on to be theatrical only. They're going to get the HBO Max market. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what Warner Bros. Has done this year. I've seen a lot of Snyder fans, since I'm a big part of the Snyder community. I've seen a lot of them say that their biggest incompetence is their handling of the Snyder situation, not restoring the Snyderverse. To me, their biggest incompetence is what they did to their own theatrical movies, where they decided to go streaming. I've seen a lot of people say that streaming is a good way to go because theaters are dying. But remember, the reason why theaters are dying is not because of what they did, but because of a pandemic and because of streaming. And streaming is the main killer. Because we've seen during the pandemic that we can get back to normal if we work towards it. We're going to have great film after great film after great film that's only theaters only. Look how good Free Guy did. Look how good Shang-Chi did. Look how good the opening weekend for Black Widow did. Look how good Godzilla vs. Kong did. All these films are doing quite well. Not all of them, obviously. Like, especially the movies that are on streaming. I mean, you just saw Suicide Squad flopped. I'm not even sure what the numbers for Malignant are. You have all these films. Candyman, I'm assuming, didn't do very well either. I cannot remember, but you have all these films that are exclusively theatrical, and they're doing so good. They're doing so well. They're doing exceptionally great considering the pandemic numbers. We got theaters open back in LA and New York, the two biggest markets in America, and I think it's important to see these numbers. And anyone who's defending streaming, putting movies on streaming, let's be clear about this. I understand if you prefer not to pay to go to the theater. I understand if you prefer to stay in the comfort of your home. But understand this. This is going to kill theaters. This is going to kill movies as a whole. Because if this continues, what will end up happening is movies are going to put on streaming. They're going to be like, oh, we don't make as much money, so what we're going to do is cut the investment. Oh, we don't even have to try that hard, so we're just going to cut the investment. So you're not going to get these big actors. You're not going to get these big directors unless they're forced into it. And even then, I mean, you even had Jason Blum from Blumhouse say that when you have your movie on streaming, it doesn't even matter anymore. Because when you make a movie in theater, you got to make it the best movie possible. You got to make it so good because box office matters. But when you have a movie on Netflix or an HBO Max or a Disney Plus, when you have a movie there, it doesn't matter how bad it is. No one's going to care. It doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. You're not going to make extra money from it. It's just going to be a few views of people who are already there on the streaming service. I mean, the proof of this is Netflix. Netflix drops like 100 bad movies a year, and then they have like 2 good movies, and then Netflix easily is like, oh, look, guys, we have Irishman. We have movies like this. We have movies like that. We have these movies that are so good. We have Army of the Dead right here. Oh, look, guys, look at our good movies. And then they drop 100 bad movies because Netflix is horrible with their movies. I'm sorry, but when I hear Netflix original when it comes to movies, I'm not excited. I'm more like, damn it. I'm more like, damn it. I'm just like, why they gotta do this to me? And it's the future. I've seen countless YouTubers saying that streaming is the way to go, that streaming is how we're gonna have to live now. But I'm telling you this right now, that is not profitable. That's not gonna make you revenue. That's not gonna make you the money that box office makes. And Shang-Chi, Free Guy, those movies are proving that theatrical is the way to go. And if we don't go that way, what's even the point? Because if let's say everyone decides they're gonna just put their movies on streaming, guess what? The movies after that, sure, those movies may be good and high budget and all that, so they might as well drop it. But the future movies after that, it's gonna be less and less money, meaning less talent and less effort. And again, the main important thing is great films. So to the people who decide to stay at home watching streaming movies, I apologize for this, but that's destroying theaters. And if you're a true movie fan, then you would be going out to the movies and supporting your local theater and supporting in a tough time. And I understand there's some people who are worried about the pandemic, who are worried about getting a virus, getting this, and that's understandable. And that's completely understandable. That's understandable. And in fact, if you're afraid or if you feel worried, then I would recommend staying home. However, don't be complaining when a movie's not on streaming. Just do what everyone's been doing for for years and years on end. What they do is they wait until the movie finally eventually comes out on streaming, which is 90 to 45 days later, or months, weeks. I don't know, however long it takes, or get a physical copy. Just wait till then. And the streaming market. I mean, the theatrical market, the theatrical time period. It's important. We gotta conserve it. We gotta make sure it stay safe. And it's always disappointing to see movie fans saying, "Oh well, I prefer watching at home because I don't feel like going." Well, guess what? That's killing movies. Simple as that. And look, I know these are billion-dollar companies. I know these are companies that are making millions. But at the end of the day, if you want great films, because I'm a big movie fan, I grew up with movies, then you're gonna have to support them. But that's going to be it for today's video. I know I talked more about the streaming thing more than I did about Nolan, but I'm very excited for Nolan going to Universal because I know Universal has not been doing what Warner Bros. Has been doing. And I do think this is a wake-up call for Warner Bros. I know they're changing in 2022. I know in 2022 they're just going to do theatrical only. But still, it's good to have a little wake-up call. It's always good to just remind them, hey, look, you could be missing out on a lot if you keep doing this. And I do think that Warner Bros. Has learned a lot this year. I do think, or at least I hope so. I hope Warner Bros. Looks at this year and says, you know what, streaming is not the way to go. I mean, we could make streaming exclusive shows, maybe a couple of movies, but not put our theatrical films there. That would be good. And again, Netflix is proof of it. Netflix is fundamental proof that movies cannot go on streaming. And I've already explained why. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notification bells, and smash the like button. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.